Hey, we're fixed. There we go. Crank it up.
Nice.
All right, say something real quick.
Hello.
There we go.
Okay.
That's not too
cool.
bad. I'll scoot over a little bit.
Does it scoot this way or that way? Where's the camera right
It
there?
doesn't matter. Yeah, that's the camera. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome. This is weird for my stream to start off with. A, because it's in the morning and no one's here. All my viewers normally are at night. And B, it's a podcast. So with my buddy Nate.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah. So this is for any of you that don't know that might be on the channel or anything like that. This is the Sticks and Picks podcast. Normally hosted by Cody and I, and Cody's not here. Cody's stuck in Florida. So for today, the Rona got him. No, I'm just kidding. So we had some time here. We're wanting to kick off season 2 of the Sticks and Picks podcast, and just like kind of say what's going to be going on. I thought today's going to be mainly game news. Only be probably 20-30 minute episode, just something quick, let you guys know what we're doing. So I thought I'd bring Nate on from Buck and Chuck Gaming. So I'll have him plug here at the end his podcast and things like that, so that way we can go from there. So all right, so just to kind of go over a few things. Typically what the podcast is, we go over sports, mainly fantasy sports, gaming news, just kind of things we're interested in, honestly. So we'll kind of rotate back and forth. Normally it's about an hour-long episode, and we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castos. I think we're on pretty much everything. Yeah, everything. So, but there's some gaming news. Not a whole lot, obviously, with sports going on with the Rona. Basketball just started. I'm sure Cody and I will probably get in on that here within the next week or so. So we'll try and do this probably every couple weeks. We tried to do it weekly at a while. I got a little too much with kids, so thought we'd cut it back a little bit. So, but lots of gaming news. So just to kind of start off, Xbox event happened.
Yeah, it happened.
It was there. So we got our first look at Halo gameplay,
which looked not very impressive, really. The graphics look kind of gen.
So like it looked cool. So when I watched it, it looked really cool because I was like, oh, it reminds me of like old Halo.
That's what I thought,
like
too.
Halo 2, Halo 3. So like Halo 2, Halo 3. And then I started looking at them like, okay, this is supposed to be on the new Xbox, but like I see grass loading in as you're walking up, and like the Brute's face. Now it's a meme, but the Brute's face was just, it's just bad. It was so bad.
Well, they said it wasn't even running on an actual Xbox. They said it was running on like a PC that's not supposed to be as powerful as an Xbox, which didn't make much sense.
No, you would assume it'd be much better.
You would think so.
Much better. But you know, it is what it is. So I wasn't impressed. I need to see multiplayer. I watched it. Tantalus here on Twitch live streamed the Xbox event, so I was in chat with him. I think we were all pretty much in agreement. We just need to see multiplayer.
Yeah, well, the only new thing I saw, period, was like the grappling hook they stole from like Doom Eternal or Doom in general, the Doom reboot.
Yeah, it looked like
cool.
It looked like a family-friendly Doom.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it looked like. But there was a lot kind of going on with that. I'm trying to pull up kind of a recap of all the games. Obviously, Fable was probably the big one.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I got super excited for that. Forza Motorsport, Halo, Psychonauts 2,
which was pretty cool.
Which
it's been development for like 20 years now, but you know, eventually it's gonna come out.
Which if I remember correctly, they bought that studio, didn't they?
Yeah,
did Microsoft buy that studio? So
that's the only good thing I think of this gen about Microsoft. They bought so many first-party studios that they should actually have software that's unique to them instead of just everything being third party
like it normally is.
Yeah.
So but here, I forgot what I was doing. Whoops. Anyway, okay, there we go. Sorry, first time tech issues. And then one thing I thought was pretty cool is State of Decay, the new one.
It looked pretty cool.
It kind of looked like Last of Us. maybe because of the crossbow and the zombie going on, but I thought that was pretty cool. It was better than their one in, was it May or April? I think that they did.
Their just like Xbox showcase or whatever that didn't really showcase anything.
It was so bad. Like it was ridiculously bad. It didn't even show any games, which I'm glad they did that. Like they showed a lot of games off.
I felt like this was just the hype Game Pass instead of the Xbox Series X though. It seemed like a big commercial for Game Pass. Everything was like, it's on Game Pass day one. So it's like they don't even care because like Halo Infinite's coming out on the Xbox One, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of these games are at the beginning, so I don't know why I would buy an Xbox Series X right now.
I don't see the point, and I kind of made this statement during the live stream because I wasn't sure kind of what they were going for. Is all of these games we can get on PC with Game Pass, with just what they might have. Like if I remember correctly, Halo Infinite is just available on PC, probably through the Windows Store or some trash like that. But like with Game Pass, if I have that and I have a PC, why would I go out and buy an Xbox? Or even if I have an Xbox One X,
yeah,
all of the games are going to be on older gen.
And I wonder, is that why Halo doesn't look that good? Because they got to have it on the last gen consoles too?
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I thought too. I mean, it's cool because I have like an Xbox One that I never use unless it's to stream stuff during work or something. But other than that, I never hardly play it. But it'll be cool if I can actually, play that on the Xbox One. So
yeah, I don't have an Xbox. I have a PC, so it's like if I really want to play Halo, I can just download it on my computer. Yeah. There were some other cool, look like more indie style games and things like that. Obviously, they snuck in like Destiny 2.
Yeah, which
come into Game Pass, which is I guess makes sense because it's on like Steam and stuff.
I thought it was already free on like everything anyway.
It is, so that was a weird flex. But like, hey guys, it's now on Game Pass.
It's on Stadia.
It's like, okay, as a PlayStation user, I've had it for free for a while.
There was a game from Rare that I thought looked kind of neat. I don't remember what the name was on top of my head. They had like weird tribal animals and maybe Everwild or something like that. Let me see.
Everwild.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just didn't show gameplay for anything, which is what sucked.
Yeah, most of them were just announcement trailers. I think they were just probably leaning on Halo gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey guys, look what we finally gave you after you yelled at us for months.
Well, did you hear that they said it might not launch with multiplayer, which is the whole point of Halo? So then it's like, why in the world is this coming out? I know it's just to, get a boost at the beginning because they got to sell it, but
yeah, the only thing I can think of is just because they're still doing Master Chief Collection multiplayer, like adding to it. Like they just added Halo 3.
But nobody plays.
They're maybe doing ODST. They do on PC, just not on Xbox. But like that could be like Halo on PC is so good. It's so good. I just bought it, so. But there were some cool things like Hello Neighbor 2. I like Hello Neighbor, the first one.
Cool.
So that was kind of cool, but like there wasn't anything that like blew me away until the very end when they announced Fable, and I was like, yes.
They had to do something though, or this would have been another huge disappointment. At least they had like one big gun besides Halo, because otherwise this would have been
it would have been rough, especially with. I know I'm a PlayStation fanboy, but like especially with PlayStation coming out like right out of the gate, they're like, hey guys, guess what? Here's a new Spider-Man game. You remember that game of the year that we had that everyone loved and played? And
but to play devil's advocate, that didn't look all that impressive as far as like next gen to me either. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks cool and I want to get it, but it didn't look like something I couldn't play on like PS4.
Yeah, which I'm really shocked, and the only thing I can think of is that they're pushing the SSD and the PS5 and things like that to where the load times are non-existent, like they keep saying. Like if I took the Spider-Man game and took out all loading times, it would be phenomenal. So that's the only thing I could think of. I don't think most of the games we're going to see now are going to be huge, like graphical. Like there's a huge increase in graphics. Halo, to be fair, looked worse. Like it didn't look like something that would be on Xbox One X. Yeah. So I think that's what threw me off. Like, and they had it running on a PC. So how in the world do you have like if you're gonna run a game on PC, you should have that bad boy able to run ultra settings, 4K, like.
Yeah, it should obviously look way better, like the old school like Halo 2 demo from like 2003 or whatever that blew everybody's mind. That wasn't even running on Xbox back in the day.
And you should have it where like I said, grass was loading in. That's ridiculous.
It's like the Pokemon game Sword and Shield.
That's so bad.
Everything pops in.
Like Nintendo's just kind of in their own world at this point. But I don't know. I'm excited for it. I am looking forward to Halo, and I really hope the multiplayer is good. I just hope they go back to their roots.
I saw sprinting though.
I tweeted.
So
I got ripped to shreds on Twitter because I put that it wasn't a discussion that Halo without sprint is better.
It is.
And people just rip me a new one. They're like, "Oh, well, just don't sprint." Like, but like, and my whole argument was for that was because they added sprinting and abilities, they had to make the maps bigger, and to make the maps bigger, they had to put more vehicles. They had to put more abilities to traverse and make it quicker, and it turned into Battlefield.
It did. It didn't feel like Halo anymore.
Vehicles are kind of pointless now in Halo. And their map design is not near as good as what it used to be. When everything was nice and tight, and you didn't have the abilities, everyone's on a level playing field. You have all the same stuff until you try fighting for the sword or the sniper rifle in the hallway. Like that map design was flawless from a competitive standpoint.
Well, you got Bungie's Halo and you got 343's Halo, and they're completely different things. Like they don't. It's just. I was a huge fan of Bungie's Halo, so 343's Halo hadn't been my jam so far. I'm not saying they're bad games because they're not, but they don't feel like what I remember, growing up as Halo through high school and college.
Yeah.
But thousands of hours in the Bungie's Halo, so it just feels like two separate things, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
As an old school Halo fan.
Yeah, it would almost be kind of nice if they had a multiplayer playlist as part of the new multiplayer, where they incorporated maybe the Master Chief Collection into that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you have playlist, or even just having it to where it's a mixture, right? So it's like, oh, hey, we're going to queue into the new Rumble Pit, can randomly choose from Halo 2 to Halo 5 to whatever. Like, that would be really cool. At least I think so anyway, but and it could kind of stifle some of it. But if their map design is good, then I'm all for it. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that's suffered because they've tried to add all of these other things to keep it fresh.
Well, I saw they brought weapons back from Halo 3 too, which is cool.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
It's just my big worry is like if they can learn anything from Call of Duty, like this most recent Modern Warfare is my favorite by far because they just stripped it and went back. Because when they started getting, they're like, well, Titanfall, you can run on walls and have jetpacks. Let's throw that in there. You know what? Let's have Kevin Spacey and let's go to space. Like, it's getting a little ridiculous, and with grappling hooks, and like it just got out of hand, and it wasn't Call of Duty. So now they're like, okay, we're gonna go back to boots on the ground, realism, to an extent, and like make it more grounded is a lot more fun, in my opinion. And that's why I've loved Warzone and the new Modern Warfare. So I hope Halo can realize that and be like, let's go back. Like, we don't have to remaster anything, but maybe even just taking things from it and being like, let's simplify it and find out what made it so good.
It looked like they did that a little bit, though.
They did that, and that's why I said when it came up, it gave me those Halo 3 vibes. We were texting, and we were like, okay, it kind of feels like Halo 3. Like, I'm all right with this.
It's
like,
pretty good.
But the more I watch it, the more I was kind of like, yeah. I just need to see multiplayer.
That's the thing, because that's what always sold me on Halo anyway. I mean, the campaign's fun, go through with like a buddy co-op or something, but after that, all the hours are going to multiplayer.
Yeah. Easy. So to move into that, so Xbox event, I'm sure we'll see more. We'll probably talk more about it when multiplayer and things come out. But there was something I wanted to talk about. So if the title of this stream or this video, depending if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, Last of Us 3 $70. So I put that specifically, and there's two things. One, I wanted to talk about. We're not going to go into great detail. That'll be a whole nother video when I finish Last of Us 2, and I think I've got on the docket Tantalus, Kyle, E-Town Beatdown, Nate, and myself, and probably Magi or Austin. Probably gonna have a 4-way, and we're gonna talk about it. It's gonna get real. We have a lot of differing opinions on that game, and it's probably the most divisive game in a long time. So I wanted to kind of explain the reason for that, but the controversy behind it. So I'm not gonna talk about the game itself, but everything that led up to it. So as you know, before Last of Us 2 came out, there's a bunch of leaks.
Oh yeah,
Huge leaks. I did a pretty fairly good job of staying away from them. I couldn't get out of all of them. So yeah. So essentially, there's a big leak. Naughty Dog, Sony did their job and was like, we need to get these down ASAP. And like with every company, part of the big controversy, there's multiple. What was in the leaks? People were pissed off about it without any context or playing the game or anything. They're like, nope. B, some other things that were in the leaks that they felt were political that were kind of getting shoved down their throats, which the big one I remember as I'm playing through the game turned out to not be true. So that was interesting. And when the leaks were getting taken down, a lot of YouTubers got copyright strikes on their channels because obviously YouTube's copyright system is broken. Mm-hmm. And so they took full advantage, tried to get the leaks down, anything associated with Last of Us 2, and a lot of places started getting strikes that didn't even have gameplay, didn't have the leaks in there, just talking about it.
Yeah, just talking about that the leaks were out instead of actually discussing the leaks themselves. There's no way you should get any kind of copyright strike. That's just reporting news.
Yes. Which it put a bad taste in a lot of... I have a few friends in the community there that have put some very bad taste in their mouths. I will say, though, it happens literally to every single company all the time. And instead of blaming the developers, I feel like you need to blame YouTube for having a garbage copyright system, and B, the legal teams of all the companies that are taking full advantage of it. That's just my 2 cents. Activision just put copyright strikes out because parts of Season 5 or parts of the new Black Ops leaked.
Yep.
People reporting on it. Activision Blizzard was like, nip it in the bud. Copyright strikes.
I know the same way when Borderlands 3, a bunch of info is leaking out.
Take-Two.
Yep.
2K strikes. Last of Us 2, Naughty Dog, Sony strikes. When Suicide Squad leaks came out, Warner Brothers strikes. Warner Brothers, it was awful movie. But Warner Brothers literally struck a podcast that was going live on YouTube before it ever went live just because of the title of it. Nuts. So like it's super abused, and I just want to say, like, as far as all the controversy goes, like that shouldn't be what people are upset about. Don't be upset about a broken system and someone taking advantage of it, because that's their job. And if I was a developer and I've worked 6.5 years on a game and it gets leaked and there's no context, I'd be pissed too.
I mean, it got leaked initially because there was a mad employee, wasn't it, that they were working insane amounts of overtime and everything else, like basically all these developers do.
So that's not why it leaked. They came out and found out that was a lie. But that brings me to my next part of the controversy is with Crunch. Naughty Dog specifically has been notorious for putting out great cinematic games and for working their employees like dogs. This isn't anything new.
Yeah,
Rockstar talked about having 100-hour weeks.
Fortnite, that's like every week.
Fortnite, yeah, Epic Games is constantly under crunch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 2K and all of them pumping out sports games, and those at EA and all those studios.
Under crunch, they release the same game.
It's the same game with a different number. Welcome, Cody.
New gambling simulator.
Yes, give me the gambling simulator. So all of that stuff. We'll probably dive into more detail on that whenever we have our Last of Us 2 specific podcast, when we kind of review all of that, but I just wanted to touch on that because I was a little jacked up lately. So the second part of the title, 2K, Cody's favorite game, because we're all about sports and games on this podcast, so now the time to merge the two. Our lovely Cody, who buys the same game every year with a different number.
Nice roster update.
He's at it again, okay? And if you love 2K and this is the only game you buy, more power to you, whatever. But 2K announced that with 2K 21 coming out, they're going to have the PS4 version with Zion on it for the PS4 coming out normal $60. The PS5 version, however, or with Lillard and one, I don't remember which players are on which. I think Zion's on the PS5. That one's going to be $70. And then you can get the Mamba edition, so not taking advantage of his death at all. For $100, that will give you both of them for free.
I mean, that's nothing new, though. They always release their bigger edition, so I'm not mad about that one.
I'm not mad about that. I think it's a little iffy about putting a Kobe one out when you just had a Kobe one and
like
you jack it up. Just put them on the regular cover, maybe. But it is what it is. So what do you feel about... So as far as the $70 argument, a lot of people are pissed off because it's $70 for a game. It says $60. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'm not super mad about it. It was bound to happen soon because we haven't had inflation for games in a long time. Which, I mean, if it's something I really want to buy, I mean, I'll spend the $70 on the extra $10. Isn't going to deter me for like day one. Otherwise, I'm just going to wait for a sale. I don't buy a lot of brand new games anyway and pay full price, so I'll just wait till it goes on sale in the PlayStation Store or on Amazon or whatever and pay $20-$30 for it.
Or in 2K's instance, we'll just get it free.
Get it free, like, exactly.
Like we had the last 4 years.
Or Cody gets the Mamba edition.
Yeah, I think we've seen the jumps before from PS3 to PS4, from PS1 to PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Even thinking back, I remember buying Genesis games and them being $70.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger was like $90 when it came out in '95.
Yeah, so, and I feel like they just got, I think the Xbox probably, when it came out, instituted the $60 and was like, we're just making them all 60, and Sony's like, we're doing it too, here you go.
Well, if you remember back in the day, like the 64 PS1 Saturn, so the PS1 Saturn games were either $40 or $50, and then all of the 64 games, the cartridges were all $60 back in the day. So there's a huge jump even back then. So we've been paying $60 for Nintendo games for ever.
Yeah. And if anyone's in chat or at any point in comments when this is up on YouTube or anything, let me know what your thoughts are on it. I don't think it's that big a deal. We've paid $60 for a game for a long time, and development costs have gone up. We get more games. Now, with that being said, we pay the same price, but we pay more microtransactions than we ever have.
Gosh.
So, I mean, and I'm a sucker for collector's edition, so I pay too much anyway.
Fighting games are the worst too, because they'll just release character packs of like $15-$20 after you pay for a $60 game. It's terrible.
Yep. Now, to be fair, so the thought was with $70, 2K announced this was going to be the new norm. Not so fast. Ubisoft, God bless you, Ubisoft, and all your sexual assault allegations going on right now, actually did something right publicly within the last 3 months. They said they are not going to be charging $70 for their PS5 games. They are going to keep it at $60.
Hey, good for them.
Hey,
that's exactly
my studio, baby. I say that they make some crap games. Games I love, but man, there's some trash ones. They've announced it. They've also announced their PS4 versions, or their games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Some other games, you're going to get Watch Dogs Legion. You're going to get a free upgrade to PS5. Really cool. Which they did that before. I remember from going PS3 to PS4, I paid $10 and got Black Flag on it. So I bought the game for $30, paid a $10 upgrade fee. Awesome. So good on you, Ubisoft. So I don't know if we could see all sorts of prices. It could go back to like it used to be.
Well, I saw Phil Spencer for Xbox said we're going to let the gamers decide. I don't know what that means.
That's a legal answer. That's a corporate answer. I'm like, we're gonna let you guys decide.
So it's gonna be $70.
Oh, if you're gonna let me decide, $10.
Yes, exactly, $5.
Give me it for $10. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. So I mean, we could see more games. There's been an argument given. Listen to a podcast called Play Watch Listen, and it has Troy Baker, voice actor, Alana Pierce, which has been in game journalism for a long time, has the creator of the game Thomas is Alone and the new John Wick Hex, and then there's forgive me, I forget his name, but a composer that does for games and things. So they kind of got music, game development, voice acting, journalism,
everything.
So kind of do a podcast together. They brought up a really cool point that what if games just start like putting it out based off their worth, right? Like 2K probably shouldn't be the best example for putting it at $70. Like maybe yours should be priced at $40. But a game like Cyberpunk that someone's gonna dump into 200 hours into it, are you really gonna be like? I mean, Project Red could come out and say this game's worth $80. We're not gonna put microtransactions in it. It's a long, huge game. $99.99 for Cyberpunk.
You got to think though. Now there's so many different indie games that there's not a lot of. I mean, AAA games are the ones that come out.
Yeah,
full price.
Indie games have been doing this for a while.
Exactly.
So, Journey, I think when it first came out was like $15, $20. That game was only like 3 or 4 hours long, but they felt this is what our game's worth.
Yeah, they knew
Whereas
it was an awesome game.
I can get a free to play indie game on the Epic Game Store or whatever, and for $5 or free or whatever, and it'd be 30 hours long.
Just filled with microtransactions.
Just filled with microtransactions.
It's still free technically.
Looking at you, Fortnite. But yeah, that's kind of all the news we want to go over. I just want to kind of get a refresh here. We've been gone for a while. We took a little bit of break over the holidays, and then the Rona hit. So, look for more of these. We'll try and do more, probably remote. We'll do kind of like a Zoom call setup. And hopefully we can get people in chat. Probably more about our normal time. We're kind of early.
And they're on a Friday when people are probably
on
working,
a Friday.
So.
Normally I'm online at like 9 p.m.
Normally we're at work right now.
Yeah. So, but this will give some people, and we'll have this uploaded to my YouTube. So the link should be on my Twitch channel. And on the YouTube video, I'll make sure to have Buck and Chuck's channel. Does a lot of retrospects. Been going through Mega Man.
Been going through Mega Man.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yep.
I loved Crash.
And top 10s.
Crash Team Racing is better than Mario Kart. Quote me.
No, not for multiplayer though. With your friends, you get 4 of you together. It's not.
We'll argue about this later. But all right, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out. Sticks and Picks podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Castos, wherever, Google Podcast, wherever you listen to. We'll try and do these live on my Twitch channel and then YouTube, so we'll have it uploaded. So check out Buck and Chuck Gaming. Also, wherever you find podcasts, probably on there.
iTunes, SoundCloud, all that fun stuff.
All
Google
of them.
Play Store.
And YouTube as well for those introspects. Some cool videos, gameplay. We're going to try and do some stuff together with some other people. We'll kind of announce that later on. We're going to kind of get some details ironed out today. So a new channel, new channel coming out with a pretty large group of us, looking to make some content of different types. So like different podcasts, retrospects, top 10s, game reviews, unboxings, even might have some people with some short form content, that'll have some stuff on there. So some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. And I'll have Cody back with us next time. Hopefully, we'll see.
We'll see if he gets back.
If he's still back, if he's still stuck at the airport. But yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll be live tonight on the channel, probably about 9:30. I think we're gonna be playing some Warzone tonight, so with the crew. So feel free to tune in. Give a follow. I think we're 2 away from 100. So, oh yeah.
Getting close.
Yep. All right. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, guys.